All right, welcome to Dear Future Husband, the writing experience. I'm your host, Christopher Sterling, for this event. And it is with great pleasure and honor I introduce to you an author, a mother, but not just any mother, a mother of a child who is disabled at the current moment. She is a supporting being, light of light, a woman who's dedicated to her faith, a pillar of her community. It is with great pleasure and honor, y'all, that I introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, DeVita Michelle. Welcome, Miss DeVita Michelle. How are you doing, Queen?
Thank you, Christopher. I am doing well. I'm doing pretty good. I'm just grateful that you are here with me. So that makes it a little bit easier to share and dive in a little bit about this huge project. And yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing amazing because you came to me with this very intentional piece of work, and I'm excited. I'm excited not just about this interview, but I'm excited about the future of how transformative this journal will be for so many people. And it's an honor. It really is an honor to be here with you in this moment and just embrace this vision that you have. It's so special to me, and I appreciate you coming to me with it. But without further ado, the most anticipated interview, I want to just jump right in, Ms. DeVita. But before we talk about Dear Future Husband and the writing experience and all that is, tell me, who is DeVita? Tell me, as if I'm a stranger, give me a little bit of insight as to who you are. Where are you from? What's going on with DeVita Michelle?
Wow, thank you. That's a lot to answer. But I first want to say this, as we embark upon this journey tonight, to the audience, to the listeners, I know for a fact that there is someone in your life, someone that you are connected to that can glean from this space, from this time, this conversation that I share with Christopher tonight. So with that said, please, please, please share, tag, whatever you got to do to get somebody in the presence of this conversation and to be exposed to this gift that God has given to me. Please invite them into any one of the spaces. We are on Zoom, Clubhouse, Instagram, and Facebook. So we want everyone to get what they can get out of this space and just be able to share it, amongst the masses. Who am I? Who is DeVita Michelle? As you mentioned in the introduction, Christopher, I am a woman, obviously. I am a mother to an angel. I call her my angel here on earth. And now I am a published author. Wow. My girlfriend said to me earlier, wow, that's hard to talk about yourself. I was like, well, I kind of wrote about myself, when I shared some information about who I was with you. So it was different. But now that I have to say it, it's like, oh yeah, that's hard. I'm just DeVita. I see myself as a fair person, a person who has a strong belief and trust in God. I'm a friend, I'm a listener. I'm an advocate for my child, of course. And I like to believe, and most times, if not all the time, I'm an advocate for Black men. I'll say Black men, but we could put that in a general sense of all men. But I love Black men, so I like to see myself as that and see myself as a woman who has the ability to actually hold space for men when they need it. So there's so many different dynamics and elements of who I am, but at the core of it all, I think I'm a pretty simple person, woman and friend and mother. That's who I am.
I absolutely 100% agree and stamp all of that. She is all of what she says she is, gentlemen. So when you see this interview, wherever you are, make sure you come in correct because this is a true queen right here, y'all. I just want to make sure we acknowledge who she is because this woman is a very special woman. And you are located in the Ohio State area.
I'm in Northeast Ohio. Most people would say Cleveland. I live right outside of Cleveland. I lived in this city for the majority of my life. There was about maybe 15, 16 years that I did not. But yes, Northeast Ohio, the Cleveland area, is where I reside. And, you know, I'm not glued here. But whatever God says, then that's where I will be.
She says she's not glued here, y'all. So one thing I know about Davita is she loves water. She's open to water. Davita, tell us a little bit about what water does for you and what that means to you. I would really love for people to hear from you, especially those contenders, the future husband, when it comes to him wanting to pull you next to this body of water.
Yes. Water, I've just always loved water. Sometimes I get tickled when I think back to when maybe fifth, sixth grade, where we lived at was not very far from a public swimming pool. And I used to want to go swimming every day. Every day. It cost 50 cents to get into the swimming pool. And I used to sneak 50 cents out of my mom's purse and pretend like I already had it so I could go swimming so she wouldn't tell me I don't have the money for you to go. Well, I got it. I want to go. So I used to go swimming all the time. And I never forget one time I was begging for this 50 cents to go swimming and she just like, please, can you just not go back out in the sun? Because I didn't care about the sun. I just wanted to get in the water. And I was black as all get out. My first experience of sunburn was at that early age where my nose started peeling and I didn't know why. And, that was that. But I've always loved water. It's just so refreshing. It's so calming. For me, I can sit and look at a beautiful body water and just literally be totally consumed by it. It's so relaxing. Water to me is mesmerizing, but at the same time, I don't think many of us give, we have these different elements, water, the earth, we have all these different elements, but I don't think that we, really sit and give just due to how powerful they are. And so when I look at water, I look at how powerful water is. Water can, it's quick. It can take over a thing, a place, a person in a split second or less. And so water is so many different things to me. It's exciting. It's like I said, it's calming. Sometimes if I'm feeling away, I actually don't live very far from water. Like I call it a stone's throw away. From Lake Erie. And sometimes when I'm feeling away, I will drive down to our beach and just park and sit and just look out at the water, look at the lighthouse, look at any boats or anything that may be out there. But water is everything for me. And for that future husband, I just hope and pray that God answers prayers and that he will enjoy water as well, because there's a lot of things that I have not been able to experience yet that I would love to experience with my future husband.
Love it, love it, love it. I've never heard water be talked about in that way before. So that's amazing. I'm blessed. I have a new understanding of water in this moment, and I appreciate you so much for that. Last question before we get into it. Destination with water. Where in the world would you like to go?
First place is Bora Bora. It's just so beautiful. I seen a picture some years ago, and I was just, really curious about where's this place at? And, I looked it up, found it, and I've just been fascinated with it ever since. Um, yes, I want to go to Bora Bora. Sometimes I try to shift that, down on my list, but it always comes back up because I believe that's the first, like I said, place that I saw that it was just so, so beautiful. While I've been to the Dominican Republic and the water is gorgeous there as well, I still want to experience that in Bora Bora.
I love it. Bora Bora. I definitely got that on the list. It's on the bucket list. So I stamped it. Fellas, you heard the woman speak. I appreciate
And I am not afraid to get my hair wet.
We out here. I love it. I love it. I love it. So look, I want to get right on into it. Dear future husband. That's why we're here. That's what brought us all here to this moment. I feel like an alignment happened, Davita, Queen B, over the last, several months and me meeting you, and now we're here. I feel like there was a very intentional alignment that happened. And I want to ask you, if you had to explain, I want to do it this way. I'm gonna start out this way. Give me one word first of describing dear future husband. Give me just one word of what you would say dear future husband mean to you, the writing experience from Davita Michelle herself. Give me one word.
No, that's kind of challenging because as you're asking me this question, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I could say this. Well, that's more than one word. I'll say this. That's more than one word too. But one word that continues to ring in my ears right now as I'm talking is divine.
That is a special word. Tell me more.
Just in the sense that God does not make any mistakes. So this is his divine assignment for me. It's really that simple. His divine assignment for me in this season that he currently has me in.
Love it. I love it. Divine. There it is. We're gonna get right into it. Tell me, Queen D, Miss Davita, as many call you, Davita Michelle, the author. What is dear future husband? Explain to me as if I was a stranger on the street. What is dear future husband?
Well, dear future husband is a 30-day journey and a keepsake. It's a journal. It's a space where a woman has 30 opportunities to share the contents of her heart with her future husband in anticipation of her future husband. It also allows a married woman those same 30 opportunities to share the content of her heart with her current husband. The beauty in this journal, and I think a lot of times, Christopher, when people hear journal, they're like, oh, it's just a book with some paper, with some lines. Well, the beauty about Dear Future Husband is that it's a keepsake. The term keepsake is very important and crucial when you look at this journal, because this is something that you want to keep for the rest of your life, meaning after the young lady, I won't say older woman, she's a young lady as well, takes this 30-day journey and share the contents of her heart, whether it's, her sad moments, her exciting moments, things that she would like to see in the future of her current marriage, things that she, sees in her husband that he may not see in himself. Or for the single woman, things that she desires him to be. It could be a dream that God may have, they may have had, and they it could have been about their future husband, and they want to share that with them. They don't want to, take the chance of forgetting. We can forget dreams in the drop of a hat, or they think that they might remember, but they can take those moments, those thoughts, those experiences, and write them in letter form in this journal. And when you go through your 30-day journey, and it doesn't have to be 30 consecutive days, but when you complete this, if you're married already, you just package this up like a little gift. And if any of you have followed me and seen the things that I've shared, for those people who ordered signed copies, they got a gift. That was part of the benefit of getting a signed copy, not just my signature, not just the message from me directly, but I wrapped it as a gift. And that's the same exact thing that you would want to do for your husband or future husband, and gifting it to him. If you're married, you create a nice romantic evening, whether it's dinner or whatever, and present it. And the same thing with the woman that is waiting for her husband. When he arrives, you got something for him. You have something for him. So that's pretty much dear future husband. There's more to share, but that's a little bit.
I know it. I know how purpose and intention works. There's so much more. I want to go to something that I heard in earlier you speaking. You said it's an opportunity.
Yes.
You said it is an opportunity for a woman to share 30 moments or intentional entries to her future husband. Yes. I don't know if people really understand, Ms. DeVita, how powerful that is. Could you please just go a little bit deeper as it pertains to where did this come from? Why did this come about? I want to know, how did DeVita Michelle come to the place of this very intentional experience that she's creating a voice? This is a voice, y'all. I'm listening to her. I hear her. She's created an opportunity to put a voice inside of marriages and relationships, right? And marriages that will ultimately push us all forward to a place. So I want to know, why? Where did this come from?
So for some people, they'll be like, aha, I get it. For some, they're like, I don't know. But ultimately for me and in my faith and my relationship, this project came straight from God. And that earlier this year, I had made a decision that no matter what, whether God brought my husband to me on this side of heaven or not, whether it happened for me or not, I would be okay. I was resolved with it. I would not find myself in a place of praying, begging, and pleading, but I would just be resolved that God knows exactly what's best for me. And if it was to wait, then I would wait. If it was for him to, appear in some way, shape, or form, then he would then appear. So when I came to that resolve, during my prayer time and quiet time with God, he started giving me these little downloads relative to my future husband. And I would always have my phone near, because I would use oftentimes the Bible app on my phone. And when I would get these downloads, I would jot them inside my notes section on my phone. And on April 15th, I was doing my devotional and prayer time, and I got a download, and I opened up my notes and I typed it in there. And God says, now post it. And I'm like, what? Post it? Like, for real? seriously having this mental dialogue with God about posting this. And I'm like, what is this? So I went back and forth for a while, but got to a place like, okay, I'm going to do it, but let me figure out how I'm going to do it. And so I went, when I figured it out, I went on my IG and I made my first entry for this particular stage of my life, my first entry to Dear Future Husband. And when I went to post it on my timeline, God was like, no, post it in your stories. And so I posted it in my stories, and it was there. And I did the same thing on Facebook, and that was that. And I went on about my day. And that was the start of Dear Future Husband, which I, at that point, had no idea that those stories were going to manifest this journal.
I love it. I love it.
Thank
I'm gonna tell you something. Any man that has aligned themselves to God or to their faith, to their belief system, and their intentions, they're gonna receive exactly what you just spoke on. I'm in a very powerful way. That showed up very powerful to me. Can you please tell me real quickly, I'm just curious, if you don't mind, can you please share with me the first entry you made into your journal? You spoke on that. I would just like to get a little snippet. You don't have to give full transparency.
The first entry was rather short, and I always try to remember it. It was Dear Future Husband, with God, I will be whatever you need me to be when you need me to be it. Sincerely, your future wife, Davita Michelle.
I knew that, but because of my research, but I wanted everybody else to hear it. Just to be clear, did y'all not hear what she said? This woman right here is amazing. I'm loving it. I love everything about this journal. Of course, you know that. Ms. Davita, so I want to do this. I want to go into who do you see as inspiration? Or let me ask it this way: when it comes down to interpersonal experiences, personal experiences outside of the spiritual aspect, I just want to kind of maybe shed light on the people who have maybe affirmed you, influenced you, and not knowingly know that they did it in that way. We've had this conversation, but I want to just like maybe shine light on how much impact external factors and where you currently were in a lot of these moments, how they influence the purpose of this book. And while she gathered her answer on that, I just want to show y'all, like, she's not kidding. I've bought a lot of books, but Ms. Davita, she said I bought about 5 books from her so far, right? I'm gonna show y'all. I bought 5. I've given one to my sister, one of my sisters who is married. And this isn't for people that just want to be married or upcoming in marriage. This is for people who are currently married, right? And you may want to step back and be very intimate and intentional in the words that you give your husband moving forward. So even for the married, this is for you. She is not playing. This rap on this thing is incredible. If I feel like it's the best Christmas gift I ever got, but fortunate enough for me, I'm gonna be giving these away to sisters around the world that I truly care and I hold near and dear to my heart. But Ms. Davita, talk to me. Tell me about the external factor when it comes to people around you. Give me a little scope of how that happened.
So you're asking how people had an impact on the project in my personal life? Oddly enough, no one in my personal life knew that I was even working on this project. No one. There's so many little different dynamics and things that went on with this, but no one knew. It was in May when God, was like, I posted a story, another entry on social media, and God was like, okay, now put it in a journal. And I was just like what? How? I had no clue. But beyond that point, I couldn't tell anybody because God said, this is for you. This is not for anybody else to do. And so while no one knew what I was working on, they also didn't know how they were affirming, confirming, and contributing to the project, unbeknownst to them. So early on, I'll give you two scenarios. One of them is escaping me right now, but hopefully it'll come back to my remembrance. I'll give two scenarios. It was the first scenario where I had started content, writing what would go inside the journal, because I was certain that it just wasn't a book with lined paper. I was certain that it had content because that's what God had showed me. And so I had started writing some of the content. And the content, meaning there are scriptures in here and there's words of encouragement. And oftentimes when I get a word of encouragement or something that comes to mind that God gives me, I'll jot it in the note section as well. So I had a whole bunch of that, but I didn't have so many scriptures. And so I had chosen a particular scripture. Don't remember what it was, so don't ask me. I had chosen a particular scripture. And I kind of, was going back and forth, like, should I use that? Should I not? Does this word go with it? Does this, so I was kind of uncertain. And whenever I get in a space of uncertainty, I'm like, God, you got to show me, tell me some way, somehow. And so in that particular instance, what happened is, it was on Clubhouse and part of a 24-hour prayer room inside the man cave. And in that prayer room, I think it was like on a Wednesday morning, because that particular prayer room went 24 hours. So it was that Wednesday morning, the room obviously was still open, and I went in, and there was a gentleman praying, and he prayed. When he prayed, he also
who was this gentleman? Can we get a name? Because I know Clubhouse is listening in right now, and I hate to intrude. I really hate to intrude. I just got to remind everybody, if you're listening via Clubhouse, you want to submit all those questions to 𝐸 who should be in the top left corner of the room. If you're listening from Facebook, go ahead, type your questions in. We're going to be taking questions from Facebook as well. Type your questions in the comment section. Ms. DeVita is open to answering those. If you're listening from Instagram Live, we want to hear from you. Type those questions in, send them to us. But Ms. DeVita, please go ahead. Do tell, who is this gentleman?
So the gentleman was Mr. Terrell Anderson.
Oh, Mr. Terrell Anderson. Okay, go copy.
Terrell had prayed, and he had also, while in the midst of praying and just kind of holding that space, he also had mentioned the scripture. And I was actually doing my morning walk, and that's the piece that I missed, that I left out. I have to backtrack a little bit. I was doing my morning walk, and typically when I take my morning walks, I do not listen to anything, no music, no nothing. It's just me, the air, God, and my walk. But this particular day, I was curious as to know if they were still praying and should I go in there. I kind of went back and forth, but I did obviously end up going in there. And basically, Terrell, with God, confirmed that the scripture that I had been kind of going back and forth on, I should indeed include it. And so he was part of the process, unbeknownst to him, he just found this out in September, the end of September. He had no clue that he had any impact on this process. And a lot of people, it's just various situations that occurred, various conversations that occurred, that God would honestly just affirm that something I had put in the journal was supposed to be there, or just confirm that you're considering putting this, and I'm going to send somebody to confirm that you're thinking and where I have you going is right. So that happened a variety of times on this journey. There was another instance, if I may share, where I was so close to being done. I actually thought I was done with the journal, and I was ready to, publish it, and God stopped me in my tracks. And through someone that I do ministry work with, 𝐃𝐚𝐯𝐢𝐝, just was like, well, you need to do this, which was, you need to create a landing page. And from there, it just kind of snowballed a little bit. Like, you need to do the landing page, you need to do this, you need to do that. And so I was like, oh my God. So once I processed all that and got through some of the preliminary things, that after she told me I needed a landing page, that he was just like, do this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, I got to get over this, because this is not me, this is God, and I just have to trust him to do this. Well, when I got to the point of, building the landing page, I got kind of frustrated, because I'm like, I need a design, I need this, I need that. But at the same time, this was my project. The things that I did with this project, I know people, I'm connected to people who could have helped me with this, but God wanted me to do this myself. And so I got a design, and I started building this landing page, and I got so frustrated, because I'm like, God, you gave me this. Now I need something to go right there, talking about on this page, this website. And I was so frustrated. That was on a Saturday. Yeah, it was on a Saturday morning, late morning, early afternoon. And that morning before I got my day really started with, 𝐷evasia was in the hospital that day. During that time, this was written the whole time 𝐷evasia was in the hospital. That's my daughter, for those of you who don't know. And please forgive me, because I got to backtrack again to get this little piece of story out. That particular morning, I felt an overwhelming desire to have a man pray for me. I thought it was weird. I did not understand it. And I just kind of shook it off, went on about my day, got to the hospital. I'm working on this landing page, and I see a notification that a prayer room had opened on Clubhouse. So I was like, I need to get this done. If I go in there, I'm gonna get distracted, but I still had this, because I needed something to go right there on that webpage. And so at that time, I was like, okay, I'm frustrated. Let me just come off from working on this, and then I'll go in the prayer room for a little while. Well, I went into the prayer room, and I wasn't going to go on stage, and automatically they pulled me up on stage. So then I said, I'm not going to say anything. And I knew in that moment that I probably needed prayer, but I didn't want to ask for prayer. And so it was a couple of people, talking in the prayer rooms. They pray, they give scriptures, they give words of encouragement. So someone was talking. Nonetheless, Toby from Clubhouse asked me if I had anything that I wanted, if I had any prayer requests or whatever. And I try to keep it real general. Yeah, just, I'm working on something, just keep me lifted. And it was just real basic. She's like, okay, Mama, we're gonna go ahead and pray for you. And she prayed a little bit. And then after she prayed, another gentleman came off his mic, And he began to speak a word into my life. And I was just jacked up. And he said what he needed to say. And then he prayed a little bit. And then he came back and he spoke a little bit more, right? So when he spoke, he gave me another word, and he also included a scripture in that word. And from that, if you go to 𝐷avidamichelle.com and you go on that very first page where it says it's the official website of DaVita Michelle, right under my name is a tagline. And that tagline was developed from the word that he gave me. And that person was Thomas Wynn, also known as T. Cruz, also known as the controller of this event.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for answering those questions. I only got one more question before we transition over to the question and answers portion of this live stream. I just want to remind everybody real quick, if you're viewing us from Facebook or Instagram Live, just type your questions away in the comment section of those platforms. We have dedicated team members there that will take your questions, and we will correspond answers from this Zoom. If you're on Clubhouse and you're listening to us from Clubhouse, make sure you back channel 𝐼𝐼𝐼 so she can get those questions right on over to us. We appreciate everyone who has decided to join us for this event. It is truly special. I just love everything about this journey, about the intentionality, spiritual connectiveness. This is amazing. My final question to you, before we transition to questions, is what's the purpose here? What do you believe, or what do you want to see happen with Dear Future Husband? What's the impact you want to create? I want to kind of tap into what's the outlook. Please give me insight to your vision, and what are you looking to do with Dear Future Husband?
Well, the deep and holy question is, I want to do whatever God wants me to do. But to be honest, sometimes that could be a little scary. The outcome, I want to share a little something before I really get to that, Christopher, because I think this is vital. I forgot about this. I want to say back in about 2017, a young lady that I know reached out to me, and she's like, we need to talk. And we're friends by way of our ex-husbands. And we just happen to stay connected through social media. But she reached out to me and she said, I need to talk to you. And we ended up connecting on the telephone. And she says, just, after how the kids doing and how you and all that, you need to write a book and I'm going to help you do it. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't the first time I heard that. That's not the first time I had been told that. But that was the first time somebody came at me like that. And she says, you need to write a book and I'm going to help you. She asked me, what was I passionate about? And, I thought for a moment, I'm like, men, like Black men. And we continued our conversation. She gave me some homework. And from there, I was supposed to do my homework. And then we were going to connect in person to talk about the next steps to this project. Well, life happened. My daughter ended up in the hospital. And I did try to continue with the homework that she gave me, but it was challenging. So that project fell by the wayside. And I actually forgot all about it. So fast forward to Dear Future Husband. While I was working on this project, I thought I was working on this project. I thought I was, developing the content that's here for single women who desire to get married. Unbeknownst to me, this was the project. The Black man was the driving force behind this project. This project was for Black men. And I didn't know it. I didn't know it and did not have the realization until the project was released and men started seeing it. And their response to it was literally overwhelming. While I can sit here and say that by numbers, individuals, women have purchased more journals, but by quantities, men buy quantities of this journal. One of my very first experiences with a man after sharing my project with him, he literally broke down and cried tears. Another experience with a man, he literally was just speechless and had just signed, his divorce had just been finalized. And his words were, I know this is for dear future husband, but you don't understand that this could save marriages. And I'm like, wow. When I talk to men, I try to hold a certain type of space so they can be who they need to be in that moment. So while I was kind of choked up hearing, going through these experiences, I got to suppress my stuff because whatever's going on with him, I understand that he needs to get that out. And so I try to hold that space for the men that I interact with, the men that I talk to. So the outcome of this project, what my desire is, what my hope is, what my prayer is that this will be, for those who are desiring to be married, that this will be somewhat a foundation, one of those foundational bricks of your marriage. This is a form of manifestation. This is a place of prayer. My journal includes prayer, written prayers in this, one prayer in particular to my future husband. I just want it to be an element to the foundation of relationships and understanding that men desire to hear these things. They want this. Men are buying these journals to share. You just saw Christopher shared. He bought 5 journals at one time. And whenever he talks about it, he always says, I'm probably gonna buy some more, but this is where I'm starting at. And not just, he hasn't been the only one that has bought multiples. A significant number of men who purchased, actually, I wanna say, yeah, the majority of the men who have purchased multiples. So yes, to answer your question, I want this journal to be part of that foundation. For those already established marriages, this journal has the ability to rekindle your marriage. Ladies, when you write in this journal, when you share the contents of your heart, your hopes, your dreams, your desires, and present it to that man, it's not to be presented in a way that you're going to, use it as a weapon. You want to use it you want him to use it as a resource of times of when he needs to reconnect with you, a resource for those times where he can't really articulate what's on his mind or is in his heart. But if he can sit with you, your handwritten notes, your words, your passions about him and your marriage, and just find that sense of balance or recalibrate himself so that he can come back to you better than he was when he got in that little, low or slump or whatever the case may be. This is a tool. This is a resource. Some people will try to simplify it, but if you use it as God gave it to me and as he purposed and intended, I promise you, it will have a lasting impact and imprint on him, you, and your marriage.
Man, this is why this is so special to me. I'm definitely one of those guys. She's speaking on it. This has impacted me, and this breaks. I don't know if you realize yet. Queen D, Davida, Miss Davida. I don't think if you realize just yet the level of impact this is gonna have. That's why I asked that question. We're literally reversing, statistics. We're literally reversing the narrative of men not wanting to tap in and understand women from a deeper level of just intimacy, but a connectiveness and alignment. It's almost like a spiritual agreement that happens when you read our words from the paper. It means a little bit more because it took time for her to put that stuff down on that paper, if I'm being honest. So when you speak in that way, it definitely resonates within me. It made me a little emotional while you were speaking because I just think about my future wife and what does she have to say to me? I'm so inspired. I'm so intrigued to really understand and tap in at this point in my life. What does my future wife want to really say to me? That she may not feel comfortable enough in that moment to express, but she's journaled it and now it's showing up as this thing that it's almost like a mission to really understand what she needs, what she desires. So a journey for her, a gift for him is incredible. Dear future husband, if you haven't already, please make sure you're following Miss Davida Michelle on Clubhouse, Davida Michelle on Facebook, Davida Michelle on Instagram. Make sure you go to that link, get your copy. This is special, y'all. So many of us want successful relationships and marriage, but we oftentimes don't have the tools we need to push that marriage and relationship to the next place. And here we have a very special package from Davida Michelle. This is how I received all 5 of mine. Gift wrap with a pen, a heart, and a thank you note. There's also an option to purchase a signed copy where she will sign it to you. And it's amazing stuff. I just want to real quick tap in and see if you're ready, Ms. Davida. We're going to take some questions from all of our social media channels that are broadcasting. Can I get a go ahead from you? I just want to tap in with our good friends over at Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse.
I'm ready. Whatever they.
Right. Let's do this. Mr. T. Cruz, Thomas Wynn himself. You heard Ms. Davida speak on this gentleman. T. Cruz, we truly appreciate you, brother. What do you have for us? What questions can you bring to us from our outer social media channels?
Absolutely. Great interview, Mr. Davida. Chris, things are going well, and the people are interested. They want to know what's happening, how this all came about. So let's just go ahead and get these questions started. So the first question is from Clubhouse, and it's Melanie, Miss Melody, I'm sorry, on Clubhouse. And she wants to know, what did you edit out of the journal, if anything? Like, what are the things that you left out?
What are the things I left out? Well, to be honest, if I share it, that means that I couldn't If I shared them now, you would know what would be coming in the future. Meaning this is not the only element to Dear Future Husband. There will be another component that works in conjunction to this journal. My desire is that for many, this isn't just a one-stop shop. You know, you do this journal one time, you present it, and all is right with the world. No, relationship and marriage is just like a car. You know, it needs a tune-up, it needs an oil change. And so as God has been giving me downloads and using his people to impart certain things to me, there's more. This is not just it. So Miss Melody, you just have to wait and see what the next project brings you. And it will have some elements of some of the things I did not include in this piece.
Ms. DeVita, I love how you just left us on a cliffhanger right there. That's amazing. I appreciate that question, Melanie. That was a brilliant question. T. Cruz, what else do you have for us? Do you have any more questions for us, brother?
Absolutely, Mr. Vita. I mean, the chats are on fire on all social media. I mean, the questions are coming in. So we have a question from Facebook, right? And this was an anonymous question, but it says, what advice would you give a single woman who's frustrated with the weight and losing hope?
First piece of advice I would give her, while I understand everybody does not walk in the same faith that I do, but if she does, I would say, trust God. Second thing I would tell her, trust God and be patient. And then the third thing I would tell her is go to DeVitaMichelle.com or Amazon.com and purchase this journal and get those thoughts, emotions, and feelings and the things that she desires her future husband to be and put them in this journal. Just share the contents of her heart. And I understand the frustration part about waiting, but I also believe that when you find yourself in a space of really, really trusting God and allowing him to do what he needs to do and taking your hand off of that thing, you will come to the realization that you're not even ready yet. That's why he has not presented himself or presented that man to you just yet. To be very transparent and honest, when I worked on this project, when I read some of the scriptures, I had to check myself. I had to check myself and I had to course correct myself in some areas. And in this project helped me to realize, okay, you're almost there, but you weren't paying attention to this piece. You hadn't thought about this piece. And so that's what I would say to that person who is in that space of frustration. Trust God and be patient and really look a little bit deeper into yourselves. What I've learned, honestly, in this year is that listening to men talk, more men, to me, in my experiences, are quicker to express that they're not so certain they're ready for marriage yet. But on the flip side, you have a lot of women who, not all, but many women who are adamant that they are ready, they are healed, they are whole, they have done all the work, and why hasn't God sent me my husband? And this is just me, because I've had to look at myself from the opposing lens to get real and be like, you think you're ready, but are you really ready? And are there things that you're willing to compromise on? And sometimes you just got to sit down and ask yourself the hard questions. So I'll leave that person with that little piece of tidbit. And of course, like I said, get the journal.
Another amazing answer. Davida, you see, I don't know if it's showing up for everybody, like it's showing up for me, but this is, I appreciate you so much for taking that question. That was another amazing question. T. Cruz, who do we have next?
So, Ms. Davida, the women want to know, this is from Clubhouse, right? They want to know, what advice do you have for women who are told to hurry up and get married? You know, what helpful advice or lessons could you provide from your own life on that topic?
So I'm never told hurry up and get married. However, that message, that question, to me sounds like it comes from that place or space of a single woman whose inner circle and family is probably, applying the pressure, so to speak. The reality of it is that those people who are asking the questions, are they married? What does their marriage look like? And could they have better prepared in their singleness before getting married? The one thing about, being single and people wanting to see you married and people wanting to see you with children, they just see the single you. They don't know the full depths or the core of who you are, as God knows and sees you. I don't think for most people, we really get naked with everyone, that they can see our flaws, our quirks, the things that we need work on, the things we need to enhance. And oftentimes, because we are ashamed, we don't necessarily just come out sharing those things with any and everybody, as to being some of the contributing reasons as to why we are still single, right? And so with that, I always say this: you could tell people to back off in a very nice, polite, joking way. And sometimes as single women, you just have to do that. Like, when God says so, when he gets here, how's your marriage doing? I hope my marriage is not like your marriage. Whatever you got to say and do to back someone up off of you without being just, brash or nasty or anything like that, you can do it. And you have that right to, because at the end of the day, when he does arrive, you are the only person that is going to be on that journey with him. You are the only person that is going to be required to endure every obstacle, every peak, every valley. And so with that, mind your business, whoever is applying that pressure.
Ooh, you are knocking this out of the park. I 100% agree with everything you're saying. I feel sorry for the people that didn't catch this live. Hopefully they're going to get the replay. You can get the replay on Davida Michelle, Instagram, Facebook, and DavidaMichelle.com.
Yeah.
Tap in, because this is amazing stuff, man. This is truly amazing. T. Cruz, who else do we have out there? Do we have any more questions from anyone across our social media networks?
Yes, sir. This is the last question, and I think this is befitting for the last question, and it comes from Hakeem in New Jersey, and he says, "What part of heaven did you fall from?"
God bless you, Hakeem. Only God knows where I feel from. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you to even just put me in that type of class. Who I am today is not the woman I was 10 years ago. I'm not the woman I was 20 years ago, 30 years ago for that matter. Work, It took a lot of work, um, self-reflection, inflection, if you will, just looking at myself and making some necessary adjustments. I'm so flawed and so imperfect, but at the same time, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because God did not intend for me to be perfect. What he intended was for me to rely on him. He intended for me to depend on him. And so I believe because I do that or try my best at doing that, um, I am who I am today. And I still, need some work. There's things that I need to work on, but hey, I'm just Davita Michelle.
She say she just Davita Michelle, and I love it. It don't get no better than that. Davita, let me tell you, I am so grateful that this vision, this body of work um, came to you in the fashion that it did. I can't think of anything when I think about the spectrum of tools that exist that is so dynamic. It's so dynamic because it's for the prior to engaged couples, and then it's for the currently married. It's like that tool that's universal that you can use no matter whether you're looking to get married or you're currently married, and it's powerful. I feel like you're going to bridge and not save but thrive so many marriages with this journal. This is an extremely powerful thing. I'm grateful that you chose me to sit here with you today and have this conversation. I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see what this do in 2022. I'm speaking 1,000 minimum marriages just from Dear Future Husband. Minimum is going to impact so many people. So if you're out there and you're listening, whether you're on Clubhouse, Instagram, Facebook, or you're here with us on Zoom, I want to know when you do receive your Dear Future Husband journal, I want to know what the impact is. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we're hashtagging this thing. We want to make this a ubiquitous thing. We want to make sure that everyone in the community gets this memo. We got to make this a contagious thing. So hashtag the DFH. Make sure you're putting that Dear Future Husband hashtag out there. Davita, I want to check in with you one more time before we close. What are some of your closing thoughts? How are you feeling right now, Queen?
I feel pretty good. You used the word grateful, and I was having a conversation yesterday or last night, and that was just a word that just really rests on my tongue quite often. Just grateful. I do want to share that prior to embarking upon this project, back in February, I had just, resolved that, like I said, I would be okay whether or not God sent my husband on this side of heaven. And during that time, I was doing something in my kitchen, and at the same time, kind of, just having this little conversation with God. And he told me to do something, and I'm like, well, excuse me, unrelated to this. How am I going to do that? And he says to me, I'm going to send you people. And so I said, okay. And in the moment, I really didn't understand it, but then I embarked upon Clubhouse, and I had been on for a few weeks, but I was just in some really jacked up spaces that I shouldn't have been in. And then I locked in with a group of people, and it just kind of grew. And I locked into a particular space, which is Hakeem's space, the man cave. And I just began to connect with different people. And I'm like, oh, wow, these are my people. I like really was getting excited. And I just always remembered that he said he was going to send me people. But then I did this journal, and Mr. Thomas T. Wynn Cruz tapped me on the shoulder. And when he tapped me on the shoulder about some things, I'm like, okay, God, you said you were going to send me people. I get it. So I thought the Clubhouse people were my people, and then T. Cruz, aka Thomas, was my people. This was a person. So I'm like, okay, cool. But then he comes with this ideal. This, what we're doing now, this is not a Davida Michelle ideal. This is a Thomas T. Cruz, T. Wynn ideal. And this isn't the only thing. It's like this man came out of nowhere, opened up the little case in my bag, put the batteries in, and was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And I'm like, I don't know where you came from, but okay. God sent people. And when he came with this ideal and we started talking about it and the people that we would use and so on and so forth. And I shared that to get back to you, Christopher, because you were not the first person that we had in mind to hold space with me in conversation. But as we were discussing the different people and elements, I just kept hearing your name in my spirit, Christopher. And we're talking this thing through. Like, this is like the very first day we have the conversation about doing this event. We're talking this thing through, and I'm writing on sticky notes. And the proof is in the pudding right here. This is the conversation of this event. And I went back and I'm like, no, I don't want to use that person. I want to ask Christopher. I just keep hearing his name. And so that's how you became a part of the project. When I thought more and more about why I was hearing your name, it took me back to another conversation that we had inside of your club, No Ghetto Amnesty, which we are broadcasting through right now. Thanks for the love. It took me back to that conversation that we had, and that conversation was so intentional. And I don't know if you knew, but you literally blew me away. You blew me away with the questions you asked me. You blew me away with the homework you had did in just a matter of a few days after me launching the book. And it came to me that Christopher already did this. Christopher had already had this conversation. He had already asked me some tough questions, and I could not do this without having you present to do it and share it with the world. And so it was important to me that you be that person to sit with me in conversation. Then there were the team, which a lot of people think that, oh, it's easy to put on this live project and so on and so forth. I had no clue what it all entailed. Just like I had no clue with this journal, the project, the process. I had no clue about it, had never published anything. But then I began to build a team as we were jotting down those notes and the ideals of what we would share during this event. And we built a team. And I just really want to take this moment to highlight each one of you. I've already shared about you and how we had our conversation, and I'm so grateful. Like, when I sent you the message and asked you to do this, interview and have this conversation with me. Your response, you know, for me, it leaped off the pages because you were like so excited, but I'm like, he don't even understand. I'm like, yeah, Christopher's gonna do this with me. Like, I'm excited. And so that made me feel amazing. But then I went on to ask other people to help me. And without hesitation, they all said yes. I reached out to Jordan. Jordan was absolutely what you need me to do. I reached out to Jamie. Jamie is such an amazing, 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 amazing woman that I'm like, I need her. Her energy, her words of encouragement. Jamie sends me messages and I'm like, dang, like, okay, she's so sweet. Alicia came on board, was like, what do you need? I got you. I got you. Lamera came on board a little bit later in the process, but Lamera had been in my spirit about being part of the project for quite a while. And we had a conversation, and after we had that conversation, I told her, you know, I want you to be a part of this. And sure, she was like, sure. You know, I do graphics, you know, I do this, you know, I do that. And I'm like, great. And she came and she developed some graphics for me. And I'm like, wow. And didn't ask anything of it, you know, didn't ask anything of me for it. I knocked on Jamie's door about creating videos and content for me for this event and for my book. And sure, I'll do that for you. And while it seems like I may have left two people out, I have not. 𝐿𝐼𝐻. I reached out to 𝐿𝐼𝐻 and it was absolutely like, I would be honored. And I'm like, you don't realize, 𝐿𝐼𝐻, I was kind of nervous about asking you, like, she has better things to do with her time. But she said she would be honored. And of course, I already talked about Thomas a little bit. You guys are the people, and it doesn't lessen the value of the other people that God have brought into my life. But I've never experienced anything like this from people I have not physically met a day in my life. You have supported me, you have loved me in ways that I could have never imagined. And so with that, I say thank you to each of you, because one thing I know for certain, and I want people to hear this and hear this very, very well. No one has to do anything for you. But when they do, understand that they chose to do that for you. You guys have chosen to support me. You have chosen to care for me. You have chosen to love on me in ways that I've never imagined. And so with that, I'm grateful. Thomas said the other day to me, he says, whether it's one person on this line or 1,000, we're gonna do this. And here we are, we're doing it. And so with that, I'm very grateful for everyone who has sat in this space with us, for everyone who has already purchased the journal, for everyone who has purchased the journal while we are on this live right now, and for those who will purchase them in the future. What I do want to do, I have 2 journals that I would like to give away, and I have yet to figure out how I'm going to give them away. And so this is what I want to happen. My ladies that are, you know, monitoring Facebook and Instagram, the first person that answers this question in the comments on my Facebook and Instagram. I'm going to send you a free journal. Actually, Clubhouse can do this too. I'll do 3. I'll give 3 away. I'm not sure, Thomas, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit off track here. How many people are, do we have people on Zoom?
We do. Yeah, we do have some guest users on Zoom as well.
Okay, so we'll do 4. We'll do 4 giveaways to a person who does not have the journal already. And the first person on each platform that answers this question in the comments or to the chat, you'll be the recipient of a free Dear Future Husband journal. Excuse me. And the question is, what is my favorite color?
So you need to go to Facebook comment section, Instagram the comment section, Clubhouse. You need to get in Davita's back channel here on Zoom. You need to send out this answer in the comment section right now, and we have them flowing in. Davita,
They sure are. It's kind of funny because, you know, I'm sitting here in my studio, AKA my dining room, and my best friend kind of mouths to me. She's like, "How are they gonna know that?" Like,
they'll figure it out. They're gonna figure it out. I promise you that.
I think it's kind of funny. And I can actually see a little bit of the Zoom comments. And so we might have to recant that question. We might have to.
We have about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes left.
Okay.
I just want to say to you, there's been so much love come down this back channel on Clubhouse, this Zoom, in my messages, and I'm just going across platforms. There's so much love pouring in to support what you're doing. I'm so proud of you. I'm grateful to know you. I want to say thank you for the opportunity. This is truly special. Matter of fact, I'm gonna sponsor these 4 books Davita giving away. I'm gonna make sure I cover that, because something this intentional, this meaningful, something this on journey, it deserves every bit of credit due to it. I really have faith that this is going to be something that go on to impact people beyond the droves. I'm so grateful, man. I don't know how excited I am. She made me emotional on a live stream. Like, that's never happened before. So y'all know this is touching my heart.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
So one last thing, give us all your social media platforms. Where can we find you at? How can we stay connected?
You can stay connected with me on Facebook and Instagram by way of Davita Michelle. On the Clubhouse, I am Davita Sales. It just has my last name. Coming soon will be a TikTok page. And last but not least, of course, you can hit me on my website at DavitaMichelle.com. That is David IA, Michelle with 1 L.com. I do want to, I know I said my thank yous, and I'm not sure if she's on the live or not, but I do want to highlight another author that's from my city where I live at, that we just happen to put out projects around the same time, and she has been plugging my journal like nobody's business. And so I'm like, I don't get on live as much as she does, but I made it my business to say that and commit to sharing her project with the masses. And her name is Nisi Jordan. She just released this book. It's called Behind Closed Doors, and you can get it at nisij.com as well as Amazon. This is her story about her journey with her challenges in her childhood with abuse of various kinds, and how her project was a healing process for her. And she hopes that those who read her book can find a place of healing for themselves who have also endured various types of abuse at the hands of adults as a child. So again, Behind Closed Doors, Nisi J. You can find this book at nisij.com. I know that's not ideal because I'm promoting my journal, but I have to show love. I have to show love. This is not just about me. We all have a journey. We all have different stages of life in which we are in. And you never know how one thing can help one person and another thing can help a different person. And so I felt it necessary to do that. And with that, I'm as we say on Clubhouse, I'm complete.
I am complete. Ms. DeVita, this has been an honor and a pleasure. I just want to say thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, those that are tapped in from Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse, we do greatly appreciate your support and showing the conscious effort to show up for this queen and her intentional body of work. I know she's grateful. I'm grateful. Please, please, please go and spam all her social media channels. That would mean a lot to me if you did this for your boy.
Thank you.
Ms. DeVita, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you. To the team behind the DFH, Dear Future Husband, the writing experience. We appreciate you guys. T. Cruz, Inaz, Jamie, Alicia, Lamara, everybody that's in the chat right now.
Oh, Christopher, I am so sorry. I have to interrupt you. God, oh, Jesus, charge it to my heart, to my head and not my heart. Tatiana,
okay.
Tati. God forgive me. She was also a part of the team and assisting us with pulling off this event. Tati, I apologize to you publicly that I forgot to mention you, sweetheart, but Tati is someone else near and dear that I connected with on Clubhouse that I could not leave out of this project. Tati brings a whole different dynamic of funny and support. She always gonna have your back. And so I'm grateful for her and I love her to pieces. Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Christopher.
Absolutely, we love Tatiana. We never want to leave Tati out because she gonna get us if we do. But
I'm already in trouble. So
we love you, Tatiana. We appreciate everything Tati brings to the table. Make sure y'all tap in on Clubhouse to Coffee and Tea if you haven't done so already. It's a great place to hang out. Who else was I going to mention? Terrell, Sheen. It's just so many people that contributed, that came together in the moment of need to help push this vision forward. And you didn't even know you were doing it.
Yes.
That's why I just sit and I be patient and I understand when called upon, I need to move. So just know, DeVita, whenever you call upon me, Christopher's going to move. I'm going to act. But in closing.
Wait, before we close, I'm going to let you have the last word. But what I wanted to do, I did want to take an opportunity to share with the masses one of the letters that I recently wrote to my future husband, just to kind of give them a little glimpse of what this can be, where this come from, what thoughts do you include when you're writing? And so I'm keep it brief. I'm not gonna give you the full version, but just some of it. One of my most recent letters were, Dear Future Husband, Your love and support means the world to me. God has brought some amazing people into my life to stand in proxy for you. I'm so excited for you to meet them and share their versions of this journey of promoting my journal that was inspired by you through the conversations I have had with God. Sincerely, your future wife, Davida Michelle. I yield.
Mm, 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 mm. Mr. Vita, you've outdone yourself. I can't put to words what this journal means to me. Like, oh man, this is different. It's very different, and I hope this is really resonating for those out there who are on journey and seeking, men who are seeking and women who are ready to receive their husbands. I'll leave people with this. Intentional. Intentional is done on purpose and deliberate. My challenge for everyone after hearing what you heard, be more intentional. If you're a woman and you desire a husband, you desire to give him the biggest gift you could potentially give him, it starts here. With being intentional with the words, the communication that you want to present to that person. And that's what this means to me. It is super intentional, it's deliberate, it's on purpose. What's your purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing, Mr. Vita? I appreciate you, Queen. Thank you so much for allowing me to host this. Shout out to the teams behind the scenes. You guys did an amazing job. I know we did a lot of work to get here, and I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen, for putting this together. Am I missing anybody? I don't think I'm missing anybody. Shout out to the team. I shout out to everybody. So look, shout out to Facebook, Instagram, and people on Clubhouse who's tapped into No Ghetto Amnesty. When we prioritize the community over the individual, we appreciate everybody coming in in support of what she's doing in this moment. Davida, please let me know. Anything I can do, I'm your guy. I got you. Don't worry about it. It's already done. All right.
I appreciate you, sir.
All right. So I want to check in with 𝐶_𝐗𝐚𝐳. 𝐶_𝐗𝐚𝐳, can we get some music to take us out, brother? I want to make sure that I bid each and every one of you across the platforms love, peace, and light. I'm hoping that your week is inspirational. I hope that you are on journey and you decide to stay on journey. Be encouraged, no matter where you are and how you are. It is important. 𝐶_𝐗𝐚𝐳, can we get some music to take us out? Good night, Ms. Davida. Thank you so much. I love you, Queen. And
I love you too, Christopher. Thank you.